In this section, we're going to talk about a little bit more on the being part. Earlier, we talked about the action, the doing. Now we're talking about the being. What needs to be going on inside of you in order to naturally project that vibe. Okay, and this is just a deep dive on the topic of being. All right, and the first topic we're going to talk about is presence, because I talked about it plenty of times in the past, but in the past sections. But I want to go a little bit deeper and give you guys a good understanding on what it is and how and why this is so important. Okay, so presence essentially is pure consciousness, the one thing inside all of us that has not changed. Every part of our body changes. Our molecular structure is replaced on a after every 7 years. Our personality changes, our roles in life change, but one thing that has remained constant is you. The one who's inside of you has remained constant. Now, the one who's inside is the one who's aware of having a personality, is the one who's aware of being aware. That's what it essentially is. So pure consciousness is you, which is something that cannot be changed or molded. So the reason why this is important is because the more connected you are with your inner self, the more connected you are with presence, the more conscious you are, the more consciousness you bring into this world. That consciousness, that presence is what you use to interact with women. That presence is what you use to interact with the world. And when the more present you are, the stronger your presence, the more influential you're going to be, the more gravitational, the more magnetic you're going to be as an individual. Because at the end of the day, presence, okay, is what's behind the reactive self. The reactive self is the self that repels women. So the more presence you bring, the more aware you are of reacting to other people, the more aware you are of your mental and emotional state, the more aware you are of how you're reacting to the world, the more presence you bring, and the more you are able to dissolve that personality that women find unattractive. You see? So bringing presence is what dissolves away the unattractive self that's inside of you. Okay? So in a sense, its presence is what you use to remain unreactive. You may notice your body reacting to a situation. You may notice your body wanting to change a situation. You may notice your body wanting to come across a certain way, wanting to manage impressions. But using presence, you're able to notice these events going on, but you don't react. Because when you react, that's when you embody these reactions, and that's how people run away from you. But when you just remain present and conscious and just observe it, you stay grounded. And you have this grounded energy that's very alluring to people, very magnetic. And also, presence is what you use to dissolve your neediness. Okay, so let's say you feel the need to impress the woman. Okay, most of the time that remains unconscious. You just think that you're acting cool, but in reality, your actions are motivated by wanting to impress her. When you bring presence, you are aware that your actions really come from a place of need. So you're not deceiving yourself. Okay. Because the opposite of presence is having conscious mental and emotional states that you're not aware of. But with presence, you're aware of all of those things, so you're able to let go of it. Because if you don't have presence, what tends to happen is that events will occur in your life that you will hold on to. A girl rejects you, and rather than observing the event, observing your body reacting to the rejection and letting it go and letting it pass through you, you become like a wall, and it stiffens you up. So you hold on to it. Okay, and because you're holding on to it, the reason why you're holding on to it is because you're hurt from it. You keep reliving it. You keep relating the events that occur in your life to that event. And so what happens is that rather than letting go of it, you begin to develop a scar around that event. Okay, and that scar is from where the ego arises, because the ego says, you know what, I'm in pain, so let me develop something in order to make myself feel better. And as a result, you either take on the identity of a guy who's hurt and that women all suck, or you take on the identity of a cool guy just to suppress the feeling of inferiority that you felt because of somebody belittling you and you not letting go of it. But with presence, the reason why you don't let go of it is because you're trying to suppress it. You're saying this is not good, so you try not to think of it. Okay, so you try to suppress it by means of developing a personality type to make you feel better, by drugs and whatnot. But what you're doing is you're confronting everything that life brings you, and you're just observing it. You're not judging it. You're just bringing conscious awareness. Okay, and from that place on, the more challenges you get, the stronger you grow in presence. This is why presence is so important, because when you speak to someone who's fully present, you're gonna notice the difference. There is a big difference. They're there. It's almost as though you're it's almost as though you feel their presence. You feel how open they are to life. And that is extremely difficult to say no to as an individual. And you just want to listen to them speak. Anything they say is interesting because it comes from a place of presence. All right. So in the next session, we're going to talk about resistance, and how resistance is what causes you to behave unattractive, and how resistance is what causes you to develop personality traits of an attractive individual, of a man who's not an alpha male, of a man that women don't find attractive. Okay. Which is why knowing how to let go of resistance is the key to molding yourself to become that man you've always wanted to be. Okay, so I'll see you in the next section. Take care.